would never listen to yourself.
No.
That's the side that's... no.
Well, I will now tell you a secret that I haven't watched them all.
Ah.
Yes. Okay, right. So, hi and welcome back to By the Furnace. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with Tim Butcher, one half of the creative force behind Fromental. Since founding the company back in 2005, Fromental has become renowned for its bespoke wall coverings. So thank you for joining, Tim. I'm very much looking forward to talking with you. I feel like your ethos at Fromental closely aligns with that of Collier Webb, and it's all about craftsmanship.
Very happy to be here.
Thank you. So I think what would be nice is just to start right back at the beginning, because Fromental, I believe next year you're celebrating 20 years.
That's right.
So how did Fromental come about, and what sort of inspired you and Lizzie to start Fromental?
Both Lizzie and I have a deep, deep love and appreciation of art, design, craftsmanship, but primarily how that's all embodied and expressed in the decorative arts. I'm a weaver by training. Lizzie is a fine draftsman, textile artist, textile designer. And we really both wanted to explore further this transformative power of beautiful decorative arts, and just how important it is to surround oneself with beauty for a good life. And we were just passionate and obsessed with the idea, and it seemed the natural thing was to do it ourselves. So I'd been traveling to China for quite a long time, and was working with many artists and traditional Chinese painters. And through the years previously, I'd discovered the medium of wallpaper, and particularly Chinese wallpaper. And when I think back, it doesn't even feel like there was a decision. It's just what we had to do.
Yeah.
You know, we wanted to explore this further. We wanted to, you know, immerse ourselves in classical design and history, but make it wholly new and do it now. And so it just seemed the only thing to do. You know, it really, in many ways, didn't feel like a choice. It's who we are, and it's what we
just very
always must do.
natural. And
absolutely, it was just something we embraced and felt a need to do.
yeah, it's interesting because everyone that I have spoke to through these conversations, they've all sort of said a very similar thing, in that they've always known that's what they wanted to do from a really young age, and it's just sort of, it's happened.
I think it's the heart of your values and passion are around these things. They are a necessity. Doing that is a necessity. And you know, Lizzie and I think the thing which triggered it was we got married the same month that we founded the company.
Oh, wow.
And it all just, which was, you know, taking on a lot, but it felt like an expression of the same thing. You know, these our lives, our partnership, what we do together, and this urgent desire to take it forward.
Yeah.
And to create.
And how did you, when you started that journey, how did you balance that? You've got married, you've you know, started the company in the same month. How did you balance that?
How did we balance it? Possibly very badly, because balance is not a word that really fits. It was just such a wholehearted and complete commitment.
Everything.
It's a total commitment. For me, I think the other thing that's always been behind both Lizzie and I, our work is a vocation.
Yeah.
Our work is our lives,
yeah.
and an expression of our lives. So it never felt like there were these different things of, well, here is our work and here is our life. The two things are a complete union. And as they were and as they are, in what we produce, in what
yeah.
we do. You know, it's just a complete commitment.
Yeah, that's really nice to hear. And I think, you know, with every business, you come across challenges. So you're on this journey with Fromental. You started the company, and I think there's either challenges or risks that you'll come across. And I think for Collier Webb, for us, our biggest sort of step was when we opened a showroom on Fulham Road. And for us, we were in the countryside. We didn't have any marketing. No one really knew about us. It was, you stumbled across us, and that's how it worked. But we did it, and like you said, we put everything into it, and it worked for us. Did you come across any of those key moments or challenges?
I think there's a lovely quote, which is, if you have a why to live for, you will find the how. And I think because the deep commitment was in, this is what we must do, each of those challenges as they come along, you surmount them, you find the solution to them, and you bring your creativity, your diligence, and your belief to bear in solving them. I think one of the things that's often almost ignored when you're speaking about the craftsmanship, the beauty, and the vision and the challenges for what you're trying to do, they're the nuts and bolts of finance, the commercial. We started this with nothing, and the number of steps on the way when there's no money in the bank.
Yeah.
The rent needs to be paid, the artists need to be paid. You can't see how you're going to, and you know what? You find it, you do it, you get out there, and you find a solution. And it's this continual sort of approach to the challenges through the commitment of your values and your belief.
And I think it's one thing starting a brand here in London where you're based, but doing it overseas, it's hard to build that. And like you say, the trust, because they want to see it before. So it's almost, how do you get to that step before people are talking about you? And
you need to create a heritage out of no time.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that, and we believed fully that if we threw ourselves into the quality of the product, and not just the quality of the craftsmanship, but the quality of design, the timelessness of something had to be all there in our initial collections. And then we just had to throw ourselves into it and convince. And you convince through passion, belief, and quality. And so I think when I look back, I can't believe we managed to do that. And I love our chutzpah in believing we could do it.
It's interesting because one of the bits that I love most about my job is I get to be involved in all the departments and all the processes, but it's to a certain level because you only have so much time. So you can't own one project. You have to, trust your team and let them run with it. And a lot of the time, we have a product designer here who will design a product 10 times better than I would, but we'll still meet weekly. I'll be involved and we'll look at it from different points of view. He looks at it from more creative, he's been involved in bespoke, and then I might look at it from more a commercial point of view. And it's just having both of those views.
It's necessary for it to evolve well. I think no organisation is anything without the team.
Yeah.
And although that imperative comes in at times when you're defining roles, it's the individuals within those roles who actually make things happen. And those people run across different threads to it as well. Obviously, with so much of our product being hand painted, embroidered, and these very skill and time intensive techniques, there's those individuals who are applying those techniques are clearly fundamental to maintaining the values and the ethos of what we do, just the quality, the execution. And so each of those people brings a huge amount to it there, but in the same in other parts of the team. Every order, even if it's a standard design, is a collaborative process with the client. And it's an experience and a journey which we need to go through with as much of an attitude to, a commitment to quality and execution in the service as well as in the product. So, everyone must bring those same values to bear in delivering every part of what we do and every project in which we do.
And for Fromental, what's next? What have you got coming? Anything exciting we should be looking out for?
Well, it's, as you mentioned in your introduction, next year is we're celebrating 20 years. And that is a time to be taking stock. And we went through in a lot of different thinking of what we may want to do to mark that. And rather than marking it in any particular way, we really are trying to look back and revisit many of the things we've done, but revisit them and reinterpret them. Now, one of the things that I've found really fascinating and satisfying over the years has been the collaborations which we've done as a company. So we've embarked on a number of collaborations, but slightly more unexpected ones. So we're collaborating with people outside of our field. And what we want to do is, with each of them, dive into the archive and the sketchbooks and the scrapbooks of our 20 years and revisit them through the lens of another creative person. Because that, to me, feels like that collaborative process of rediscovery, reinterpretation, and innovation is what excites.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to see what comes out of those collaborations. Equally, we've got quite a significant launch coming up next year, which is a different strand of wallpapers. Wallpapers are our medium. We do many other things, but wallpapers are our medium. But we've been working on producing something using a different kind of, I'd say, traditional techniques, but a traditional format. More normal printed wallpapers, perhaps more accessible, where we can celebrate all of our craftsmanship and artistry, but bringing them out in a way which may be less niche. We often forget just how niche we are from a price point of view. You know, what we make is exquisite and beautiful, but it's not accessible to many people. And so we're working on producing something which is a little bit more accessible to maybe a wider audience, for more people to be able to join in with what we do and, you know, experience that transformative possibility with wrapping your room in something as beautiful as what we make.
Yeah. It's very easy to go down the route of where you were saying about having a niche range, and I feel we're quite fortunate in our bespoke work that we see what's coming and we can see, you know, what people want, which can help us, you know, widen your ideas slightly just in terms of what people are asking for. But yeah, it's a difficult one.
Well, it's funny. It's that, you know, what's next is always the most interesting thing. What informs what's next comes out of all of these experiences. And just as you're saying, you know, there's a huge number of the designs which we produce came from a conversation with a designer, a project and a client brief, and an idea to follow it, which maybe didn't happen, but we run with it.
Yeah.
You know, and because we're swimming in that water all the time and we're exposed to working with the most fabulous designers all over the world on the most wonderful projects, we naturally ferment and get this input of so many exciting ideas. And from that, you trust the ideas that come to you because you know that as long as you keep your values straight and you're operating, you know, and experiencing the right conversations with the right designers, what comes next will be right.
Yes.
You have to believe that.
Yeah.
So,
So I have a question for you that I'm asking everyone on By the Furnace. If you could go back to your younger self and give yourself one bit of advice within the industry, what would it be?
I think it would be nothing is a wrong turn. No mistake is wasted. You learn from all of it. So there may have been decisions where I would have said a faster no or a slower yes.
Yeah.
But it's a hard balance because that enthusiasm to see what happens next is the driving force to give you the energy and resilience to confront the challenges which will inevitably come. I think the one bit of advice may be that to learn from nature's pace. Nature's pace comes from patience. I don't think I would have been in quite such a rush to do everything, because building a brand like Fromental, building a business like Fromental, is more of a marathon than a sprint. It always feels like a sprint when you're in it. So I think I would give myself more time to realize that each step on the way, however small, is necessary to the much larger tapestry, which you'll only see in time. So give yourself a chance to reflect. Don't hold back, but there's no need to rush. It's the longer story and the longer race which is going to be the more fulfilling in all of that. And I would just reiterate to stay true to those values and that belief in quality and creativity, because if you stick by those, it'll give you the resilience and the diligence to follow the journey properly. This whole thing is as much about personal growth as it is professional success, I guess. And the other one is, when you're in the middle of it and the urgencies are coming up, things are going wrong, things seem insurmountable, you will get through it. Just keep on going. You will get through it. This too shall pass, and you will continue to grow.
That's a very nice bit of advice. Thank you, Tim. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for joining us in today's episode of By the Furnace. We look forward to seeing you in future episodes, and to see more, head over to our Instagram page where we'll keep you up to date, and don't forget to like and subscribe.